What it is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be reviewing Bullet Train, the newest Brad Pitt starring film. We're going to talk about all the things from all the different assassins and train physics and I don't know, Japanese covers of music, all that good stuff. And if you want to hear about it, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and sit on down and listen in to The First Ones to Die.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die. We hope you are having a great day today. Why did I say die with so much enthusiasm? I don't know why, but we're glad you're here today. My name is Jonathan. I'm here with my fellow co-hosts, Alex and Jerome. Before I ask how you guys are doing, I just want to let the audience know where they can find us, give you some reminders about where you can catch up and communicate with us. You can follow us at the First Ones to Die on all social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that great stuff, TikTok. You can email us firstonestoDie@gmail.com, and we would love to hear your reviews and ratings of our show. We love to get feedback about what you guys are liking. Now, Alex, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. It's been a pretty slow week for me, which it's not a bad thing. Just taking care of my little garden. How about you, Jerome? What you been up to lately?
Nothing. Been chilling. I have been working on setting up the Twitch channel. So for those of you who don't know, because by the time this comes out, we'll have already done it. But we are going to start playing some games on Twitch. It might not be a, excuse me, it might not be a regular schedule, but it will be on schedule. And you'll definitely know, at least, if not the day of, the night before, when we're streaming stuff. So check out our Instagram at The First Ones to Die for updates. But our Twitch channel itself is The First Ones to Die Play. So also, of course, on YouTube, you'll get some of the, the recorded and cut together versions of whatever it is we do up there. But before it hits YouTube, if you want to get it early and also, chime in live so you can ask questions and, be a part of the fun and everything, go on over to the Twitch channel. When we're live, you can tune on in and be there. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So, yeah. We're playing Stray. So if you're into cats, check that out. And I don't know what's coming next, but we will. Yes, no, not the. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you're into the musical,
Never again.
you want to play the game. Called Stray. That's not based off Cats, the musical. But yeah, and I don't know what we'll play next, but whatever it'll be, trust me, you will hear about it before we go live, so that way you can catch it on time at that Twitch channel. So,
how you been doing, Jonathan?
Good. I was telling you both before we hopped on. I did a big bus tour this week, and along with this movie, I also saw Bodies, which was a lot of fun. I'll save my thoughts for a potential future review, but I enjoyed it. That's what I'll say.
I might just go see it.
General thoughts. Did you like it?
I really liked it.
Very nice.
I really liked
it. I still think I'm sure after watching it, it makes sense why Lee Pace might be in there, but I'm still confused to why that man still is in there with all the youngins. But also Lee Pace is also just an amazing actor.
Mm-hmm. They do explain it. It's explained.
Okay. So there is a point to him being so much older to everybody else. All right, it's not just some weird thing where they're like, let's just
that we're gonna try to ignore.
Yeah. Which I feel like I would still just go to see it just because of him. So it's it's weird, but you also got me. So it's you also knew your target audience. So yeah, you win. You win this round.
True.
You got my money this round. I will give you that.
Today, we are talking about the new Brad Pitt movie, Bullet Train. That's right. 5 assassins aboard a fast-moving bullet train find out their missions have something in common. Stars the aforementioned Bratt Pritt, along with Joey King, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Brian Tyree Henry. This is a stacked cast, by the way. Andrew Koji, Hiroyuki Sanada, Michael Shannon, Bad Bunny, Logan Lerman, Zazie Beetz, a whole bunch of other people, some cameos in there too, but we won't talk about that until we get to our spoiler section. By the way, if you don't know how our reviews work, we first talk about our general thoughts of the movie. Did we like it? Did we not like it? Then we'll give you a warning in case you haven't seen it yet to hop off and then rejoin us later as we talk about all things spoilers. So first up, what did you guys think of the movie? I'll start with you, Jerome.
I think this movie is pretty awesome. I really had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was energetic from start to finish. I love the style of this movie. It's got so much flash, and it just is really like poppy, but not in a way that's annoying. Like, it doesn't feel like it's just flash for the sake of flash. It feels like it kind of helps tie the movie together, especially given how the violence in this movie works and everything, and like how amped up it gets at times. So that was cool. Also, I'm trying to look up the director right now. David Leitch is responsible for John Wick and Deadpool. And it shows here, because there's a lot of things that this movie does where I'm like, that's just like Deadpool 2, or that's just like John Wick, especially with the action sequences. The action sequences in this movie are really well done. No two feel the exact same. So I love that. And I love that it's the varying types of things. There's some gunplay in here, but there's also some hand-to-hand combat. There's some stuff with swords. There's a lot of really big action set pieces at that. So there's a lot going on at one time, but it all just visually looks like it's all well put together and well choreographed. So overall, I really had fun with this movie. The only criticisms I might have is that, like, this movie, for a lot of it, reminded me a lot of Smokin' Aces. And if you've ever seen that movie, it's kind of similar premise, like a bunch of assassins or a bunch of like mercenaries or whatever get brought into a building, and then they like are there for a common goal of some kind, like normally to kill somebody, especially in the first one. It was to kill somebody. And but the center point of that movie is like a lone FBI agent. And you get to spend enough time with this FBI agent to know them and understand like they're at least that person, so that, you know, you can have fun with these wacky mercenary characters. In this movie, you don't really get to know these people as much as it's just you get to know their thing, like what's their gimmick, what makes them like quirky and unique, which is fun. But it does make, not all of them, but some of the deaths kind of just feel like, oh, okay, well, that person's dead now, whatever, and you kind of just move on. So I wish that they had balanced a little, because it's you, like you said, it's a star-studded cast. There's a lot of characters in this movie, so it's a hard balancing act for sure. But I wish they had maybe done a few more rewrites to make sure that we have that pulls that balancing act off a little better, where we do care at least about the very important characters in the story. Because there's a few where I'm like, I mean, that you're cool, but I mean, if you die, I don't really care. Like, like, and it's that kind of thing. But overall, though, and, you know, that's more of a nitpicky thing for me personally. It's not like that was the point of the movie. So I, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But that's just for my taste, my personal things I like. But other than that, though, overall, this movie's great. I think more people should watch it if you wanted to have a good action time. I'm surprised it didn't come up earlier in the summer where it would have fit better. But regardless, great movie. I like Bullet Train.
Same here. I had a fun time watching it. The thing that stuck out to me the most were the visuals. So vibrant. I really like the fact that even though a lot of this movie takes place at night, it didn't fall into the traditional movie thing where you have a night scene in a movie and it's like all dark or gray colors. This movie's very colorful, which, you know, is probably the Japanese inspiration or
They
but
have
I really
properly
liked
well lit trains, unlike the ones in America.
yes, exactly.
Lights never
And they were
flicker.
very nice. They were very nice too. They looked very comfortable. A lot of can't say that about a lot of the trains in America. But yeah, I love the visuals. Um, and on the opposite end of that, I didn't pay too much attention to the dialogue in terms of what people were saying. One, because a lot of times I couldn't, even though I was watching it in Dolby, in the Dolby cinema, sometimes I couldn't understand what people were saying. And
No,
not
no, no.
because
The mixing is
No.
off in this movie because we watched
okay.
it in IMAX and we had this. At least me personally, I had the same problem. There were times where the music was so damn loud I could not hear the dialogue at
Yes.
all.
And not because of anyone's accents or anything, just because the way that yeah, with the audio and everything in the mixing, it was just hard to understand what people were saying at some points. I almost wish there were captions um, for a lot of the English language in the film. Um, but other than that, I had a fun time. I enjoyed getting to see when people would pop up and they would get introduced. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wish that we had spent some more time with some of these characters, but ultimately it was overall a good time. This is a movie this is a good, like, I don't know, date night movie that you could just watch with some friends, have a good time, and then leave the film happy. So Alex, what are your thoughts on Bullet Train?
I wouldn't call it a date movie, but this is a movie you definitely go with like your friends too. Um, so I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Talking about the cameos, I loved when sometimes a cameo will come up and it takes you out of the movie. Like it takes you out, you're like, hey, it's that. But like the cameos that they had, the surprise cameos that they had in this movie, it made it better because you're already like hyped up in this film with everything going on. You're like, oh, I'm putting the pieces, and then like a cameo happened. You're like, hey, it's that actor. I know that actor. And yeah. So I like the cameos in this. They felt like they were added and they were well done and well placed. They didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They were in the scene they were meant to be, and they didn't drag them out longer. Because you can also tell sometimes when they pay for the cameo, you spent a lot of money to get that one person in that film. So you're going to use them in the most random spots they don't need to be in. You like, you guys are right about the mixing. Sometimes the music got a little too loud or certain sounds were just a little overwhelming when the people on the train were trying to talk and whisper too. There were points, of course, when they're on the quiet car. So they're trying to whisper and things are getting calmer. So like the other sounds were amplified too much and you couldn't hear the conversations that they were having. I liked the intricate web that this movie has with its assassins. Like other movies, when they've done this, they're like, oh yeah, it really falls down to like one person, but all of them were still interlocked with each other in different scenarios outside the original scenario of what brought them together. And I really like that because this talked about the Japanese underworld and the crime world. I don't know why I stopped there. The crime world and all that, and how even when you are not Japanese, you are still interlocked with that, and just the different ways, the different worlds that are coming together in this one world. It was just really cool to see that. And it felt well balanced. Nothing ever felt forced in. It felt like a well balanced film. Um, I love how clean the train was, going back to that. I love it. There's a whole train where it's like this cute little like kid area almost. I was like, that is so cute. And it's a bullet train. So these trains are going so fast and they only have like a minute stop. But I liked all the actors, liked all the cameos. I enjoyed this film way more than I thought I would, honestly, because I'm not too much into action-packed films. I kind of think like, yeah, I get it. You're cold-hearted, blah blah blah. But this one actually had some feel-good moments into it that I really enjoyed, and I like that. I like when I can feel connected in some weird way. I like Bad Bunny's character. He was my favorite. And I'm super pissed for what they did, but I'll talk about that in the spoilers. They did him dirty so quickly, but I'll talk about that in the spoilers. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good movie just to go and just have a fun time with some friends.
Yeah. All right. Well, spoilers. I mean, you just teased it right now, Alex. What did you not like about the Bad Bunny? I know what you're gonna say, but what did you not like about the Bad Bunny arc? AKA Wolf. His character was Wolf.
Wolf. Benito.
The Wolf.
No, it was Wolf.
I mean, it says that on here,
Wolf.
but I just remember them calling it, like, everyone kept referring to him in the movie as the Wolf. So gotta put some respect on it. He's a legend.
His actual name was Benito Martinez
Ocasio.
Ocasio. Yeah, try to read it. Tiny little lettering on IMDb. Fix that, please. I love Bad Bunny's character because one, Mexico. Just gotta do one for my own. Two, like, I felt like his was so much more passionate, and I love that. And like his wife just died, and he's still wearing the same suit from his wedding that's like in her blood and everything. I was like, oh, that's passion. He's there for the murder. He's there for the blood. I thought I was so upset with the way they just killed him off. And like the moment you meet him, he's dead within like 20 minutes. And I was like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I think it was sooner than that. It was maybe
because I'm not gonna lie. Like I mean, I know Bad Bunny wants to get into acting. Apparently, he's got a wrestling movie that he's doing based off an obscure Marvel character with Sony that he's doing. But I'm just saying, not many actors make the acting, or not many singers make the acting jump and are good in their first. All he had to do was speak a little bit of Spanish, have presence, and stab a dude. That's it. It's very simple. He's in and he's out. He did a great job with the little bit they gave him. And you know what? He was perfect with the little bit they gave him. I am worried that if they'd given him more to do, he would have ruined it.
This is something that I was going to talk. Right. This is something that I was going to talk about because I was noticing this, not noticing, but I was being cognizant of the fact that this is like one of, if not the first movie that he's done, and that he's going to have an acting career going forward. And I thought he did a great job, especially with his role. Yeah, especially with the fight scene with him and Bratt Pritt. Like, he killed it. I mean, he got killed in the end, but he killed the role. And I thought it was I thought he did a great job. Not to like nitpick like the expressions and stuff, but the expressions were on point. His passion was on point.
He has presence. Like, he just has like that. He has that like mean mug face. He can look fierce when he wants to and stuff, and he does a great job at it. Like, he did a great job. I'm just saying, it's like I've seen many a singer try to be, or in his case, a rapper / singer, become actors, and all they can do is the very stereotypical look at you don't believe me? Look at Exhibit in DMX. Every role they've ever been in. Okay, they have great presence. They can look mean as hell. But the second you give them lines to say, they don't like it. You can start to notice the cracks real quick because all they can do is look mean.
But he had passion and he had love.
But on the positive side, look at someone like Lady Gaga.
That's
made that transition.
Lady Gaga's done an amazing job, and she is fantastic. But that's because she did
don't
acting before she was a singer. There's a difference.
Box in Bad Bunny.
I'm not saying he can't be good.
I feel like you're trying to hold him
I feel like
down.
this movie was like, we got a lot of other actors in here that are more accomplished. You know what, Bad Bunny, we'll let you be in the movie. Let you get an action scene in. But that's it.
And plus,
and then after that, you guys said,
I think also,
sorry, we don't have time.
Cheddar's wilding. He's like, I can't take this Bad Bunny slander.
You upset the cat.
Also, I do wish him luck though as he goes into his acting career. I do hope he gets more roles.
Well, the things that we've seen him in and will see him in are very similar to his wrestling career. Like this role, you know, action packed, very, because he used to be a wrestler, and
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
yeah. So he has that innately in him, I feel like. And then his next role he's like playing a wrestler. So
Yeah, he's playing like a wrestler superhero type dude. So
Either way, I still feel like they did the only Mexican one wrong. All right. They did him dirty.
I think, isn't he Puerto Rican?
He was Mexican in the film.
oh, so now you accept him now. You didn't accept America Chavez. It's like, you
I
didn't
never
give
said
her an
anything
inch.
about America. No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. In
I
an
don't know what
earlier
you're talking about.
episode, I was like trying to include her in the Latin superheroes. You were like, well, she's Puerto Rican. I'm like,
No, I said she was not Mexican representation. She was Puerto Rican.
well, he's not Mexican representation either. He's Puerto Rican.
Yes, but the character's Mexican.
so is America Chavez.
No, America Chavez is Mexican. Her character's supposed to be Puerto Rican.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No, it's the other. No, it's her. She's the character's Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
America Chavez is Mexican.
I gotcha.
Is Bad Bunny? I don't know what Bad Bunny is, but I feel like they
He's
did
Puerto
the
Rican.
He's Puerto Rican.
Mhm.
I'm still taking it. Look, I got very little until Black Panther Forever, Wakanda Forever comes out. I got very little options. All right, man. I got very little to take from. I understand why he died the way he died, though, because Bratt Pritt, the main character of this film, who is called Ladybug, he has notoriously bad luck. And like he's like, oh, I do snatch and grabs, simple jobs, but for some reason people still die, and they show different various moments where people just die when he's just trying to do simple jobs. I connected with that character a lot because shit just randomly happens to me, and people are like, how'd that happen? I'm like, fuck if I know. I don't know how this happened. Like on my birthday one time, I got like my fucking shoes stuck in an escalator. It had to be pulled out. It was at Bed Bath & Beyond. How'd that happen? I don't know. Like, it was very uncomfortable, but the very nice ladies who worked at Bed Bath & Beyond gave me a nice extra discount for the escalator taking my shoe.
More than that 20%.
Yeah, got a nice like 40%.
Hey.
And it was my birthday. But I liked how Ladybug, Brad Pitt's character, did he have a different name, or did they just refer to him as Ladybug?
No, he's just
On
Ladybug.
here, just as he's just called Ladybug.
I like the way he didn't use weapons or guns or anything, and anytime he was presented with a gun, he removed himself. Because during the whole film, he's talking about thinking positive. He's like, went to a dark place, now I want to do better. And he's using this whole enlightenment, and almost like if an assassin would have anxiety and panic attacks, which that is what was going on. And it was actually really kind of cool to see that in character, because it's like, what would you do in that moment? Because for somebody like me, I do have actually pretty bad anxiety, but in a moment of like chaos and intention, I am actually very good, very in control, and I can handle shit really well. But the moment that shit is handled, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. Somebody needs to like hold my head above water for a minute. So I kind of like seeing that. I was like, hey, I do that too. I can kick somebody's ass, but I'm going to have a panic attack afterwards about it and kind of feel bad because I do not like doing that. So Brad Pitt's character, I actually liked. I didn't anticipate liking his character because I'm not that big a fan of Brad Pitt. Like his acting's always been okay to me. It's never been that grand, but in this film, it felt good. It felt like this is a funny, and I don't know if it was a character or if it was him, but this felt like a good character.
I love how he's so youthful. He just feels so youthful, especially in this character. I feel like it highlighted it. Not that not being youthful is a bad thing, but he brought a freshness to the role. Also, what did we think about Joey King's character, Prince? First of all, I really liked her portrayal of the character, and I really liked her.
I think she did a good job. I just could care less for her storyline. Like, it was the most boring of all of the assassin storylines, and every time
you didn't like that twist of her being the daughter.
Not really. And honestly, when she said it, I was like, oh, that's what we've been doing this whole time. The most cliche of all the assassin time. Like, it's like, let me guess. You're upset because you didn't get the attention. And then when she says it, I'm like, yeah, it's like, that's the most boring motivation out of in a movie with all these really fun characters. Hers was the one where I was just like, can we move this along? Like, maybe it's because they kept doing the same thing with her, where every person she runs into, she pretends to be a scared girl. And the only times that was ever interesting was that Lemon wasn't buying it, like played by Brian Tyree Henry. I was like, okay, that's fun. That he's like of everybody else, he's like, no, I'm a cold-blooded killer, and I can recognize other cold-blooded killers, and that's you. So
I thought it was weird that she seemed, for the role that they were trying to present, the scared little girl, I was like, she's a full grown ass woman. Like
that too. Joey King is getting up
like,
there. She doesn't look like a child anymore.
She did not look like even a teenager or anything. I was like, that's an adult. This feels weird and everything. Like that she's wearing almost like a schoolgirl. I was like, this feels weird and uncomfortable. I understand maybe like a little bit younger, or yeah, like Joey King, good actress, but I don't feel like she was fit for that role properly.
I just think her storyline didn't really interest me at all. And you know what it may have been? It may have been that like everybody else is so in the action. Like you see Brian Tyree Henry fight, you see Aaron Taylor Johnson fight, like Brad Pitt, even Bad Bunny. Like like Zazie Beetz, for as little bit of screen time she's in, gets to have like something to do. All Joey King does for this entire movie is talk. She doesn't fight anybody. She doesn't shoot. Like when the one person she shoots like who's not able to fight back. Like she doesn't really do anything. She kind of just walks around, talks.
Sometimes that can be more menacing though.
But she's not menacing. That's the problem. She wasn't menacing. So
I get what you're saying, Jonathan. There is a menacing to like the people who like are so controlled in those type of situations and like have that even voice is like, oh shit, like you're probably gonna kill me. But like she didn't have it, and like the way she just kept trying to do things like, oh yeah, I'm the it was said at the end where she's like, I'm the one who left standing and I'm the winner, and Brad Pitt's character is like, the narcissism on this person.
And then she gets hit by the truck, the bus.
She gets hit by the
tangerine truck.
Yeah, where he's like, you need to read the book Surviving Borderline. It's pretty out there. It's like, yeah, it's like she was trying to be the main character of the movie, but it's like you didn't do anything. You set up a couple bombs and not really that well, because
now granted that was a cool plot point that it constantly had. It set up a lot of stuff where it's like, oh man, who's gonna set off these bombs? Or this person's threatening to shoot somebody with the gun that's set up as a bomb. I wonder who's gonna do it. The only thing I will say is that sometimes this movie does treat the audience like they're slow. because for example,
you're talking about putting their names up on screen every time they're introduced. Is that what you're talking?
No, I'm talking about like how like at the end of the movie, skipping ahead, kind of jumping around, Michael Shannon points the gun at Joey King, and we know it's the gun with the bomb in it because that it has the barrette tie, which is why they do that. Like they did that in the script probably to like separate it so people know who has that gun, that it has the hair tie on it. And then the movie goes to the effort to also be like, to zoom into the barrel and be like, and also the bomb is still there. And I'm like, yeah, the bomb's still there. No one's fired the gun. Do you think I forgot that the gun has a bomb in it?
I see what you mean about that. I do like
and it's already marked.
That's true. I think the marking was enough. I do like how they used the items almost as like characters as well, like the water bottle, how we went through everybody's lifespan, or like how they got to certain points or different scenes, or like why they were on this specific train. I like how they did that with the water bottle so much.
The water bottle, it literally had its own character title graphic.
Yeah, it went through it. I
like
that.
I didn't like it because I was like, this just feels like doing something silly for no reason, because it's not like we learn anything new from that scene. All we learn is that they got it from a vending machine, but it's not like a new revelation of the mystery is unsolved or anything. It's just a silly scene to be like, hey, wouldn't it be dumb if we like followed this water bottle real quick?
Oh, see, no, I took it as it's showing the effects of fate. Everything had a play and everything was that. The little girl didn't get her water bottle. Lemon got it. And because Lemon got it, it went through all this, and because he didn't want to drink it because it didn't have like sparkling or whatever it was, it survived up into the train, and then he used it, and because Lemon got beat, he ended up getting the sleeping. It had a lifespan to show like how fate comes into play and how you think about the most in inconspicuous items, or like items you don't even think about in your day-to-day life, end up playing such a big role, because it was that water bottle that ended up hitting Michael Shannon's character that threw him off and let the elder have another chance, or have a moment more. So I actually really like that scene, just because fate was such a big play in this movie, because this movie's all about how fate intertwines them, and how, because he's Ladybug, and it is explained that in Japanese culture, ladybugs are symbols of good luck because they carry sorrow from other people. It's not that they are good luck, it's that they hold all the bad luck back. So like having the ladybug on there wasn't necessarily good luck. It was just going to make it a lot less horrible at times, or it's going to make the horrible stuff good, I guess, which that's exactly what his character did. It made things bad for the better of things, because the people who needed to walk away did walk away.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on it. I think I could agree with that.
So what did we think about Tangerine and Lemon, the brothers played by Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree?
They were my favorite part of this entire movie, to be quite honest.
I like the dynamic. They had very good chemistry.
Mm-hmm. They were great.
I like how they made Lemon. How they used Thomas
Tyree Henry's accent too, on point. Like he had a pretty solid British accent.
At first, I was like, "Is that a British accent?" But then after I heard him talk for a couple sentences, I was like, "Okay, yeah, they're both."
It is.
Yeah. But I loved like every scene with them, from their quirks to the things that made them, like especially the Thomas the Tank Engine stuff. That was very funny. But I also loved, Aaron Taylor Johnson looked good with the stash. The stash fit him. It was a good look. It was a good look.
And you know who else thought it was a good look? Channing freaking Tatum, who makes
that's
a
one of the
cameo in the movie. Yes.
Yeah, he was a weird cameo in this movie, but it was very funny. It made me laugh as soon as I saw him. I was like, oh my God.
I feel like he's one of those people who does so many cameos in movies.
I said he's becoming the new Matt Damon. Matt Damon is like a cameo person where he just pops up out of fucking nowhere and you're like, hey. Channing Tatum's becoming that now, where it's like, I feel like I haven't seen you in any actual like movies now, right. But you're like
popping up in other
people. Like if I go to your IMDb, you're gonna have this like long ass list, aren't you?
Right. Well, I recently a couple weeks ago watched Free Guy.
I just mentioned that.
Yeah, and he is a Free Guy. But him and also the other major cameo in this movie, freaking Ryan Reynolds.
Who is also another cameo person, who is also a person who does a lot of cameo
role. He's in everything. Like he just cameos
they should have a movie called The Cameo and just see what people will pop up.
Ryan Reynolds though was a little bit more true to the cameo form, because he was literally a blink and you miss it.
But did anyone notice Logan Lerman in this movie?
Yeah, he was.
I mean, in the sense that you knew it was Logan Lerman looking at him, because I did not know that. I was like, I had to look at the cast list to know that it was Logan Lerman.
I was like, when he first popped up on screen, I was like, he looks so familiar. I know I've seen him in somewhere else. And at first I thought it was what's his name, Dylan O'Brien, because I saw him on like I feel like I get them confused sometimes. But I saw him on a red carpet, but he was on the red carpet for Bodies. He's not in Bodies, by the way. But I think he was just on the red carpet. So that's what I had like recently thought of him doing. But yeah, he played the brother, the son.
Yeah, I actually had to look it up right now too, because I was like,
yeah,
where?
But then I'm like, after like having it in my mind of the thing, like, okay, I'm not gonna, what is your name? I was like, oh yeah, that's Logan Lerman.
What is your name, guy?
Yeah.
Who are you? Huh? Yeah, I could see that mistake. I mean, they're both young white males. I mix them up all the time.
Also, I love how you're mad that they wasted Bad Bunny, but I'm mad for a completely different reason that they wasted Karen Fukuhara, who's in this. Like at first, I was like, I saw her in the trailer, and I was like, oh, Karen Fukuhara's in this movie. But they're keeping her role of hush hush. Maybe she's like playing like like a secret assassin or something. No, she's just the train attendant lady. That's it. That's all she does. She was.
Oh my god, that's her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I genuinely didn't know that.
She's
look at
also
it now.
on Craig of the Creek. I love that show.
She was in the.
Oh, okay.
Good show.
No.
I was like, are you kidding me? Karen Fukuhara is like one of the best action women out right now, and y'all didn't use her for
she
nothing.
didn't do any action
She didn't
stuff.
do anything. All she
Oh my
did was get
God.
smacked in the face by Zazie Beetz, and that's it.
They could have used anybody for that role.
That's crazy. No, they should have at least made her like an assassin or something.
That's what I was saying.
I genuinely didn't know that was her until like you pointed it out, and I had to now look it up and like, no, that's ridiculous. They wasted her. She's absolutely fantastic, and she can do an amazing scene. She should have been more. She
should have been the Hornet.
She should have. Well, she was like everywhere, but did not. But like had a role. So they also use what was it?
Are you talking about the conductor, Masayoka?
Yeah, Masayoka.
At least he gets some lines. He gets to.
He says off at next stop. That's what he gets.
Well, he also has some sass in there.
He's got some sass.
I laughed at that.
He's from my favorite movie, The Meg.
They did spoil that Sandra Bullock was in this movie, though. She's in one of the trailers.
I did not know that until she popped up at the end. I didn't know Michael Shannon was in it either.
It was they were keeping hush hush. But I was in my mind like trying to rack my brain. I thought it was gonna be Mickey Rourke for a while because they were like, yeah, we have this like the white death, and you never see his face. I was like, all right, who is he? Who's playing? We're gonna see him at some point in this movie. It's gotta be somebody important. Who is playing this character? And then when it was Michael Shannon, I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, that's when they should have
Michael Shannon
brought out one of the random cameos like Ryan Reynolds. Like, what are you doing there?
I was like, it's like in my head, I was like, I don't know, is it Michael Madsen? Is that who it is? I can see him doing this. Tim Roth.
I was just trying to think. I'm like, who's like older and kind of popular, like action star, and I can't think of any because I don't really know.
But then they didn't even pick an action star because they picked Michael Shannon, who's not like an actiony guy. Like he's So it's kind of interesting.
Got some,
Also the comedy in this we haven't really talked about, but I loved how funny it was. Very funny. Yeah.
It's very fun, especially Bratt Pitt's character. He has some of the best jokes in this movie.
I will say I like that it was well placed. Nothing ever felt like nothing felt like there was comedy relief, like just to break the tension. It was like, all right, I get you doing that then. All right, that's cool. It wasn't just like, well, somebody's dead and you just made a joke about them being dead. But it was more like he panicked. It was like, oh shit, I killed another person. Damn it. And he like freaked out about it. So like the comedy was well placed in this film, which I appreciate when enjoying that, because a lot of times in films like this, they'll use like comedy relief, or they'll put the comedy, trying to even it out with the action, and it doesn't work out. Bratt Pritt, again, his character, I ended up just liking it because he was funny. It was well done. And I loved that he like his like bucket hat too was so weird for me, because it was like you're used to everybody doing the baseball cap thing, not to be seen. You wear a baseball cap all the time, but this man had like a fisherman's hat going on. That was his incognito-ness.
It fits the chill of his vibe, but also fits like in Japan. I'm sure like bucket hats are more the thing than baseball caps.
Are you up?
Bucket hats are in trend nowadays.
Which I don't know why. I don't like bucket hats. I don't mind them, but I feel like you have to have a certain style of hair to wear a bucket hat.
One day make a segment called "All the Things Alex Doesn't Like." Tom Cruise's face, Brad Pitt's acting, bucket hats.
I never said I didn't like Brad Pitt's acting.
She-
It's okay. I don't like Tom Cruise's face. That will always be a thing. I don't like bucket hats. I could do that. I could do a whole episode on that. Look out for the mini episode. Alex just dislikes. I'm gonna have a list. I'm gonna show it to you guys. Presentation why I don't like it.
Yes.
I think I do think there's something, I don't know. I just because thinking about Smoking Aces and stuff throughout this movie, because I couldn't stop thinking about that movie. Because I'm like, this is Smoking Aces just on a bullet train in Japan. But I think the difference is like, I wish there was more time to introduce these people, because literally with every person, the only one we get a full introduction to get to know, which is why it was a shame that he died so fast, was Bad Bunny. Like we meet that character and then he instantly dies. Well, he instantly dies, but also we meet that character, then they cut away for a little bit to do some other stuff. And then the next time we see him, we get his backstory. We find out who he is, his struggles, how he got into the crime world, became an assassin, how good he is as an assassin. Like it just, and all of this with no dialogue, very visual, went by very quick. And then fast forward, we're here, and I'm like, okay, cool. I get to know this. I know this character. Then he dies. And I was like, oh, well, damn, all that setup, and we just killed this man.
Yeah,
I love him for no reason.
But I wish everybody had gotten that. And maybe Joey, and I think about that because I'm like, maybe that would have made me give a shit more about Joey King's story if we had more backstories for some of these people, because some of them it feels like you need it for you to really care that much about why they care so much about getting these jobs done.
I think the lack of backstory for Joey King's character was intentional because of the surprise ending, because of how.
Well, you don't need to tell us that she's the White Death's father. You just got to tell us that she felt abandoned and always had to prove herself. And at the same time, you can also show how dangerous she is, like with weapons and stuff, like with the switchblade, as opposed to us just hearing a lot of that and her just being like, yeah, I can kill you, or yeah, I could do this, I could do that. Like showing is better than telling in a visual medium. And Joey King talks a lot about all the things she could do. You don't get to see any of it because she doesn't do anything. And even at the end, when she has the chance to do something, she still doesn't do it anyway.
You know what? Actually, that's kind of a thing I found weird in the film, because when the twins mentioned the Bolivia job, we saw parts of like the Bolivia job. There was like a foot, them covered in blood, like a little like flash of it, right? And then when talking about Bad Bunny's character, the wolf, you got to see the wedding of what drove him, and even like, hey, I want this information. And then with Bratt Pritt, you got to see the mistake that happened when the guy fell off the roof, right? So you got all these like little flashes. Some of them weren't full or whatever. But with Joey King, when she was talking to Kimura, Andrew Coy's character, Kimura, Andrew, his character about pushing his son off the roof, I actually expected to see that occurring, because of the ways they kept setting up these scenes and like showing, oh, they want the two guys who did the Bolivia job. They showed parts of the Bolivia job. Oh, I never tried to kill anybody, but people died. They showed that little bit of that scene. Oh yeah, I'm the one who pushed your son off the roof. And I had anticipated seeing a scene right there to see that. And kind of that cold-blooded action, because you're right, we see her talk about like being able to do these stuff, but she doesn't. All we do is see her maybe reassemble a gun real quick. I wanted to kind of see that scene to show like, oh, her actually putting violence upon like an innocent person, because that's what his character was driving his character. And I feel like we lost out on that a little bit, because his was also, you got to see it. And then the father, or the grandfather came in, which I loved his character a lot. His was really cool.
Sonata is the best. Like,
yeah.
he even elevated Mortal Kombat. The man is unbeatable. He's an unstoppable force.
Yeah, and like having his character, and then they showed that backstory, and they showed a little bit. So I get what you're saying, Jerome. They could have shown little bits that had nothing connected with the White Wolf, of her like either training or talking about being dangerous or something like that, or even again the just pushing the son off the roof, showing that like she did a cold-blooded action, but we didn't get any of that. I think they tried too hard to keep that they wanted so hard to throw us off about her being the White Wolf's, or the
White Death.
The White Death's daughter, that they ended up just like making us disconnect from her a bit, being like, oh, get it, because
Yeah.
or maybe just they were trying to keep it so the kids were really unimpressive, because his son, the Logan Lerman's character, they really didn't show anything other than him being tied to a chair, but that was more had to do with what the twins are doing. So his kids were just really unimpressive. Maybe that's also it.
True.
The kids were really not, even though they were kind of the ones responsible in a way for this kind of all going off the rails and not going as planned. Technically, his kids were like, "You're just fuck ups too." So like, I'm not gonna focus the story on you guys. You guys have done nothing good.
It's just, yeah, I wish there was just more backstory for some of these killers. Not all of them, like I don't need to know more about the Hornet. Like Zazie Beetz, I think does a great job. Just her personality alone in this movie gives me everything I need for that character. Even though she was another one where I was like, dang, she just got here. You just killed her instantly. Because I'm not gonna lie, I watched the trailer and I didn't recognize her with the blonde wig, because she has the same hair in everything she's in. So her having that blonde wig threw me off. I was like, who is this actress with this blonde hair? And then when she takes off the big like head of the mascot head, and it's her, I'm like, oh snap, Zazie Beetz is in this movie too. And but then I looked at the poster, I was like, oh, that wasn't.
You've seen her before.
Everybody knew that. But I mean, I thought she was fine, like with the little bit, but I would have and even Lemon and Tangerine, we spend a lot of time with them, so we get to know them. Same thing with Bratt Pritt, we get to know him, so it's like you kind of care more. But I'm like, I don't really care about Joey King. I didn't even really care about Andrew Koji that much. Kimura, because I don't know anything about this man. They keep talking about how he's like abandoned his son, but I'm like, for what? Does he have a drinking problem, a drug problem? Was he like the messing around with another girl or something? Like what's with this dude? And you expect me to kind of just like feel for this guy, but I don't, because I don't know him. It's not because he's doing a bad job. He's doing a great job acting wise, but I'm like, I don't know this person. And because he's attached to Joey King and we barely see her in the movie, we barely see him in the movie. And unlike Hiroyuki Sanada, who has just a lot of charisma and character to him as an actor, Andrew Koji don't have that. Not for me.
I think it would have been fun had we seen all of the people on the train interact a little bit more, rather than, okay, Brad Pitt interacts with Kimura, and then Prince interacts with Kimura, and then Lemon and Tangerine interact with the son. I wish we would have had more of the interaction, like the cross interactions with some of the different people. I think that would have been more interesting, and it possibly could have solved that problem of, one, getting to know them a little bit more, and two, also not just killing them off the second that we either get introduced to them or after, not after a while. Like I would have liked to see more of those cross interactions.
You know what? That's a fair point, because I'm sorry to keep comparing it, but it's too similar. And if you've seen these movies, you know what I'm talking about. In Smoking Aces 2, there's Taraji P. Henson and Alicia Keys are in that movie. And Common as well is in the movie. And Taraji P. Henson and Alicia Keys are these this assassin duo. But Taraji P. Henson clearly is like into Alicia Keys. Like she likes she's gay, so she's into Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys plays aloof because she's like, I don't really like her like that, but we're partners, so we'll work together. And but the reason, like in the end of the movie, slight spoilers for Smoking Aces 2, but Alicia Keys gets shot because she's on site. Meanwhile, Taraji P. Henson's a sniper. That's her part of the team, is that she's a sniper. Alicia Keys is the infiltrator. She gets shot and she gets saved by Common, and Common's like, dang, you fine as hell. Yeah, I'll save you. And he picks up Alicia Keys and he's holding her in his arms, as he carries her out, out of the building to get to the ambulance and stuff. And they both survive. Taraji P. Henson sees this through her sniper scope, and she's heartbroken, and she freaks out and just starts killing like all these like people who are in the hotel that they're like trying to infiltrate to assassinate this guy. And then the FBI come and kill her, and yada yada yada. That scene and that small story holds so much weight because you spend a lot of time with those two before we get to the crazy madness of the like all these assassins killing one another in that movie. And I wish this movie had done the same thing, like you were saying, Jonathan, where there was more time of them just interconnecting or talking to each other, having fun things of dialogue before the craziness starts. But at the same time, I don't know how, because me and Alex found this out watching the trailer. This is based off a book. I don't know how the book goes. So maybe in the book, like,
and
because the
also
book, they have more time to explain that and have the craziness just happen from the very beginning and just get into it.
and not only that, the Bullet Train is a sequel to another book. So we don't know what was set
true.
up in the first book to make this book. And then, yeah, there may have been other characters that they took out or characters that they added that changed the thing. So like, yeah, it was very odd to know that this was based off a book, but also might explain why some of these characters don't feel like they're developed. Like they almost like you should know already who these people are because they came from the book. Didn't know there was a book. Kind of want to read the book. Movie was fun.
It was. Anything else before we get into final thoughts? Or do you want to go into your final thoughts?
I would
more or less,
want to talk
Here's
a
a
little more
question.
about the elder.
You're
yeah.
Sonata.
Yeah, because I quite like how
It's
that
very
tied
mysterious character.
Mm-hmm.
He's very mysterious.
Talking about presence, the way he came onto that train was so
True.
fucking awesome.
The foggy station, and he's got the hat and stuff, and the cane.
The way they presented his, like they had presented his character in the hospital when the grandson, had taken the push. That was really cool. And like, all right, you probably are a dangerous man just because of the way they gave the scar. I was like, all right, you've done stuff, cool. But then the way they had him get on the train, the way they presented him later in the movie was like, oh shit, you did stuff in your past. Like, now I know
he intimidates Joey King is so like that. That's what I was like. This is what you take notes, girl. This is what you should have been doing the entire movie. Because all he does is put his cane up to her. It's not even his sword. She doesn't even know it's a sword. He just puts his cane up like, hey, stop it. And she's like, yeah, and runs off. I'm like,
she's like, what?
Yeah, like a cartoon character. Yeah, and it just runs off with her.
Well, that's what it shows. Like when you're an actual threat to what you had said earlier, Jonathan, how some people can be intimidating without like raising their voices. That calm exterior. That's what he had. He had like all these other ones were like great at like the fighting and the yelling and like insulting each other, but he had such a presence that when they were all turning on each other again and they were like attacking each other because they all each had shot each other in a different way, he had this calm presence that he was able to take control. And I love what they did with that character because he just like the White Death, we're talking about fate not having control. Well, I'm going to take control. He allowed fate to play its role and he knew the opportunity would come. And he's like, hey, this was all meant to be. Like shit went off the rails, but this is how it's supposed. So like his character nearing the end, I loved it so much just because of the way they presented it. His acting style that he was, because he's much younger than what they were having him portray as well.
It's true. He's not like an old man like they present him. Granted, his picture though on IMDb is not his current age. Like that's him when he was younger.
That's him quite many years ago. But like they were still having.
I mean, he was born in he was born in 1960. This picture, he looks like he's in his like early 30s.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
he probably took that when he did the Ringu, which is the Japanese movie of The Ring, before they remade it.
terribly. But yeah, the way like it also just shows to him as an actor that like he can present himself this strongly still on screen at his age is like damn, I'm intimidated by you. Like I know you can just kick anybody's ass. I like it.
Plus, he did what, of course, I felt the same way about Mortal Kombat, where I'm like, Hiroyuki Sanada is a very good swordsman. He better have a sword in this movie. And then when he pulled out the sword, I'm like, hell yeah.
I wanted to be like, I want a sword cane. And I was gonna say that to you during the movie, be like, I want a sword cane. All I felt like I was gonna hear was no, Alex. I feel like that's the answer I get when I say I want this weapon. No, Alex, no weapon.
I mean, I would just be like, go ahead. I mean, I have I know where I can get a switchblade right now, and I do want one. And butterfly knife. So, you know.
I will make no further comments for legal reasons. But anyway, I really liked how they had his character play in at the end, and how the whole thing was like kind of how like fate is what fate is, but at the same time it is chaos and it is chaotic, and I love that because I am all about chaos and chaos now. Just like fuck it. I tried, I'm not gonna adamantly jump on a bullet train and try to fight people, but I'm also not gonna be like, oh no.
That's the one part of this movie where I was like, no. This is when Aaron Taylor Johnson gets kicked off the bullet train, and then he runs and jumps back onto. I'm like, that train is going off at easily 50 or 60 miles per hour.
Oh no, faster than that.
Okay, yeah. I thought that. I was like, but I said at least that much, but it's probably way faster than that. At takeoff off that station, there is no way you were going to physically run at the speed of this bullet train and be able to jump and catch it. That would mean you have to get ahead of it, and then when while you're in the air, still
and stay on it,
having a time to
stay on it while it's moving at full speed.
Right.
That and when the train fully crashed and everybody survived.
Oh, and everybody's okay. See, but I was like, I don't know what it is. It's weird. The Aaron Taylor Johnson thing and him jumping on the train, I was like, no. But then like them crashing, I was like, all right. This is where we're at now. Like the movie's already gone off the rails, both literally and metaphorically. So
they kind of show how Bratt Pritt's character survives. I mean, he gets like cushioned. But really quick,
but how does Hiroyuki Sanada and like Chukoshi survive?
Especially when the train crashed into another train and it went off the tracks.
And like a series of buildings and everything.
I'm sure they have better safety precautions than ours. Also, his character holding onto the train while it's going, I can't say to when it's taking off, but the train going, bullet trains, the Japanese bullet trains go about 200 miles per hour. That's 321 kilometers per hour.
Kilometers, probably.
Kilometers per hour. That you will not be able to hold on to that. Also, the people on top of the train would not have been able to hold
the people on top
right.
of the train too. That's why I said like I was accepting of the crash, because I was like, okay, so let me get this straight. The Ninja Turtles apparently on top of the train there, because that's the only way they're riding it right now. Are apparently the Foot Clan is out today, so that's how they survive.
A train going about 200 miles per hour, you're not going to be able to hold on to it. You're definitely not going to be able to punch through the window
and then punch through the glass. I'm like, I don't care how hard you can punch that. I'm sure that glass on bullet trains are probably pretty solid to avoid just that type of thing of anything heavy hitting that glass.
Not to mention, how did they even just like walk and fight so effectively and efficiently while on the train?
The White Death said he bought all the tickets, so I'm assuming all those people were plants, which is why none of them really cared that a lot.
I mean,
on the train.
In terms of like stability on the train while it's moving at miles per hour.
Bullet trains are notoriously pretty smooth. Like they're not as bumpy as like a regular train that's riding on rails.
I feel like
because magnets, so it's just floating, basically.
Magnets is the answer to everything.
Margins.
I get what you're saying. I think that a lot when I see trains like that, but they're also designed to be more steady than like an
Mhm.
Amtrak train. Their tracks were made better. Um he bought all the tickets so the train ended up being empty. It's not that they were plants at the beginning. All the tickets after a certain stop were bought. So that's why the train ended up being empty.
Oh, got
Because
you.
he's like, he said something on the phone to him, and he's
Goddamn.
like, I know there's nobody else on the train with you. And he's like, oh, yeah, what makes you say that? He's like, because I bought every ticket from here until, where were they
Kyoto.
going? Kyoto. And he's like, so there's nobody else. There should be nobody else on that train with you. He's like, well, fuck you. So,
I'm glad Lemon survived. I was like, oh man, Lemon's dead. He's the fun one. And then he's like, yeah, he was just sleeping. And then he survived. When he fell in the water, I was like, okay, well, he's not dead. But I only that's what I was gonna ask. Do you guys want a movie of Three Assassins if it connects? Because I think it says like Bullet Train is like a like spiritual. I don't know if it says it's a literal sequel, like the sequel book is a literal sequel to Three Assassins. It's just like a sequel book in the sense that this book came after it.
I don't know. It all would have to be on what the Three Assassins is about and like how it plays to Bullet. If it's going to be connected to Bullet Train. If it's a movie alone, maybe because this one was so interesting, and then what the author created, I'd be interested in seeing other parts of his work.
Okay, it does say I'm looking at the Wikipedia. It says it takes place after Asaka's novel Three Assassins, like the book. So
Yeah.
okay, so I guess it is in like the same world, same universe.
So it'd have to be if they decided to intertwine it properly. If this is ending up being a prequel, this is a separate movie, or just something like that. It's how they would play it. Possibly just because I do like how the movie ended up being. It will depend on how much liberty they took when they made the movie from the book too. There's factors.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say no. I definitely want to read the book now. I think I'm definitely gonna read the book, but
Me too.
I don't know about the Three Assassins part. Yeah.
I also want to see the stage play that the Bullet Train book is based off.
There's a stage play.
It says Maria Beetle was adapted as a stage play in Japan in February 2018.
Interesting.
So I'm curious what that looks like.
But there's YouTube. Always on YouTube.
A lot of stage combat in that play.
That'd be interesting.
Okay.
So
final thoughts?
Yeah. This movie's good. That's what it mostly boils down to. Despite my like minor complaints, I don't think this movie's bad by any means, nor do I think it's not fun. I think if you can just kind of just go in and like it stays pretty in pocket, but then once it hits that point where with the train thing with Aaron Taylor Johnson jumping on the train, that's when the movie just straight up is just like, all right, new territory now everything's just going crazy. But if you can stick with it, it's still a lot of fun. A lot of cool action stuff happens. The characters, even though you don't know much about them, especially the actors who are more seasoned, they do a great job bringing these people to life at least, and making them people you like watching on screen and have fun just seeing them get into these like this wacky adventure with. I just like, and that, I just wish that the directing in this movie trusted the audience more. Cause also I mentioned the snake too, where like almost, I don't know how many scenes kept being bookended with that snake. Like the movie kept being like, remember the snake's on the train. And I'm like, yes, I remember that the snake is on the train. You don't have to keep showing me the snake if they're not going to do anything. And they don't until like the end of the movie. So I just wish the directing in this movie trusted the audience more and wasn't so like hand holding about like its plot points, because it makes everything, it doesn't make those reveals when they do happen as impactful as I think they could be if they let the audience kind of just like roll with the film a lot more, as opposed to constantly reminding you of like what's happening at all times. But overall, I would give this movie as a grade a B, just average B. I think it's a good movie. It's a fun time. I can't wait to get this on Blu-ray so I can have it in my house and just put it on when people are over. Like, it's that type of film. I would definitely like stop and watch this on TV.
Yeah, I'll probably I echo some of the same sentiments. Um, like I mentioned in the beginning, I thought it was really fun. It was a fun time. I loved the comedic elements of the movie. When when Lemon woke up, the audience laughed and gasped at the same time. It was a lot of, there were a few of those collective audience moments during the movie, which I really appreciated and are just they overall add to the theater going experience. Um, I also loved the comedy. I think I just mentioned that, but yeah, I also love the comedy and some of the downsides, the mixing, some of the dialogue felt kind of muffled. Um, Also, the elements of the fact that oftentimes it would be introduce somebody, they die, like we talked about. I wish there was more of that interconnection between some of the characters and some of the storylines, so it didn't feel as singular. Like, okay, we're watching this story, and then we're watching this story, and then we're watching this story, and then we're watching this story. I wish it felt a little bit more cohesive in that sense. Um, I thought the cast was awesome. I think everyone did their job really well. I appreciated the cameos. I like that this is a stacked cast as well, a very great ensemble cast led by Brad Pitt. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed the film for the reasons that I mentioned with some of the downsides, but also with some of the positives. I think I'm going to give this a B plus. I would definitely watch the movie again. I have no rush to, but I would definitely check it out again.
I'm with you. I give this movie like a B plus. For all the reasons you guys have said. I did like, so a couple times they do speak in Japanese and they don't use subtitles, but I kind of liked when they did that because it felt like a conversation we weren't supposed to be a part of, not unless you understood Japanese. So I did like how they did that. They cut you off in certain parts, or they made it so like you weren't wasting your time trying to listen to what the conductor and a regular passenger were saying. You weren't distracted by the subtitles, you were focused on the character. So I think they did really well in that aspect too, because sometimes when movies use international sites, they kind of do it in a gimmicky way. Like, oh, look, we're in this like exotic location. Or they, use it in a way to just kind of draw your focus off of other stuff. They didn't do that. They didn't use Japan in a gimmicky way. It was simply just a city they were in. Nothing was pushed in front of you. I adored the train with the little kids and the plushie thing. I don't remember what it's called, but it was cute. And so I really liked how they did that. I didn't feel like they used.
I was sad when that one stuffed animal got its head blown off, like its body blown off with the gun.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, like just used it, poor thing. Kid was trying to nap. So I did like that. They didn't use Japan in a gimmicky way. It was simply just the city they were in and part of the, I'm sorry, called the country. Japan's called the country. Japanese. Yeah. Anyway, so I really did like how they did that, and when they didn't use subtitles for certain things to make it feel like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be part of that conversation. I'm supposed to be focused over here, which was really good. Again, I was really surprised that I enjoyed this movie so much. I'm never been a big fan of Brad Pitt. Like, I think he's okay. His acting's always been okay to me, but this one, I don't know if it's because I could resonate a little more with the character or like what. I think he did a really good job in this one, and I loved the metaphors that they use in this film, like with the ladybug about how it's carrying the great seven sorrows on its back, and those are the dots. I was like, that's kind of cool for like people who have like really shitty luck. It's actually not shitty luck. You're making good luck for everybody else in a happy turn of events style.
If you like this movie, sorry,
Are you gonna try to make me watch Smoking Aces? We'll talk about that
Yes.
later. We'll have another discussion.
Go watch Smoking Aces.
And also saying that what you mentioned earlier, Jonathan, about it being mainly being at nighttime, it was very appreciative that they did not have low lighting setting, because I have really bad vision, and with low lighting movies, I have a really hard time watching them, and I often stop paying attention, or stop caring because I can't see anything. So having this film with adequate lighting, even when they're at train stops, was really important to me, and so they did such a good job in that, and I do recommend people going to see this movie. Probably not going to go out and buy it, but I definitely like watch it again if it's on TV or even on like Hulu. I'll probably play it again because I was like, hey, this is just a good fun movie to watch.
Yeah. Also, I forgot to mention that this was my first time experiencing an audience clap when Nicole Kidman comes on in the beginning and does her cult spiel.
It's become like a meme now of
It
people like
has.
making jokes about Nicole Kidman. In fact, someone did a thing where, you know how she's watching the movie and then they show what the movie is on. Someone did one, like they've been now memes have been where people replacing the movies that she's watching, and some of them are like normal stuff. Like one person did Morbius, of course, because it's meme. But some people will do stuff that's like messed up. Like they'll be like, she'll be watching a movie and there's like Saw or something. And she's just sitting there smiling like, yeah, cut your leg off.
Jesus.
I don't think AMC is ever gonna get rid of that opening intro now. If anything, down the line, they're just gonna update it with her.
What's dumb is that why they put it in movie theaters. It's like all she's promoting is, yeah, movie theaters are awesome. And it's like, it's almost like I'm in one right now to watch a movie. Why are you telling me this? I'm here at
You
the
already
location.
got me.
Right.
Yeah,
I already
true.
bought the tickets.
I mean,
Like,
they
why
all
don't you
do
put
that.
this
There's,
on like your YouTube channel or something, or
there's,
on like this should be a YouTube commercial. That's what that should be.
no, they all do that. There's that one. Wait, it's not AMC, Regal. They're the one where all these people are walking into the movie theater saying these lines, and like they're promoting themselves within the theater, and it's like everybody's coming to watch a movie, and it's like, cool, we're already here.
But that's the Regal
started.
one feels more like, because the Regal one just feels like fun. Like it's just people saying movie quotes. No one says the line, yeah, when you come to the theater, you come for an experience, to laugh, to cry. That's Nicole Kidman. And the Regal one is just like, hey, movie quotes. Anyway, Regal theaters.
I don't know.
This is where we have
both
movies.
both are still advertising. Both are like,
I love
I'm
that
here.
Regal. I love that Regal does that roller coaster though. That's always my favorite part. Of
I will give that, yeah.
But
Make
yeah,
sure you're
AMC's one is
engaged.
just here's the city and some red lines. Anyway, come watch this
That's
movie.
right.
Overall,
Maybe
watch
they-
Smoking Aces 1 and 2. They're good movies, and they star Ryan Reynolds is in one of them. He's in I think Smoking Aces 1. So watch that, and then also Smoking Aces 2. Great starts to the cast. It's got a lot of good actors in it. It's a good movie.
But please go watch Bullet Train. It is still
And
a
also
good
then
film.
watch Bullet
Yeah.
Train.
See, a
too.
movie,
Watch
you
Bullet
know,
Train for sure.
Or the movie at least me and Jonathan were reviewing during this time is a good fun film to just see with some friends on like a weekend, or a nice matinee. So, but what's your social, Jonathan? Let's get that moving.
Yes, you can follow me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Like I mentioned, you can follow us at The First Ones to Die everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can email us thefirstones2die@gmail.com. And we'd love to get your ratings and reviews. Give us 5 stars if you think we were 5-star worthy. Leave a comment wherever you're listening. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Give us a comment. Did you see Bullet Train? Did you like it? Let us know so we can start that discussion. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Alex, how about you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on Twitter. I don't know why I say Twitter. I'm never on there. Instagram and TikTok, really. But mostly you can find me hanging around. The podcast is TikTok, The First Ones to Die, where I post little clips of this, clips of myself editing and just randomness that I do. Currently, we are now starting D&D, so I post a little thing of that from our recording last night. We're excited to do that. I might actually do a collab with somebody else on some dice for it, which is cool. I really want D&D dice. Once we have that worked out, we'll talk more
I
about
stand
that.
corrected. It was dice boxes. It's dice boxes.
Still cool. We'll talk more on that later. But for now, where are they finding you, Jerome?
You can find me at not Jerome Rett on Instagram, as well as at RoboZoo Media, and at Jerome_the_show to see other creative stuff I am working on. And if you want to see all types of extra content that you cannot get in the audio form on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, where you can hear the podcast, go on over to the YouTube channel at The First Ones to Die. You can see all types of stuff like gaming videos, book reviews, mini reviews, all that type of stuff. Again, also Twitch channel, check it out on I can stay up to date on Instagram and our other social medias. If you want to know when we are streaming, we will post them up there as well. I'll try and update the schedule as well in Twitch on the Twitch channel, but if that's not getting updated regular, oh god dang it, the McDonald's is hurting.
Are you?
I can't talk right now.
Lord.
I have indigestion or something. I don't know what's going on.
It sounded like you had to burp and swallow at the same time.
Because I'm in mid-sentence talking. Going over to the Twitch channel, watch The First Ones to Die play. Also, and if you also want to find Smoking Aces, you can on Peacock. The first movie's up there. You can watch it right now. I just looked it up. You can't find the second one up there. You have to go to YouTube or something to watch that one. Anyway, and then go to the movie theater and watch Bullet Train because it's good, dang it. So there you go.
All right. That's it.
Go ahead.
That's it from us. We will see you all next week. We hope you have a great week. And until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.